Now, the other side of that equation is inside of the Patreon, I break down in extensive detail. And make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Inside of the Patreon, I break down in extensive detail the difference between a sole proprietorship, the different versions of an LLC, and then an S-Corp, right? But for most of you, you're looking to get an LLC because you just want to separate your personal from your business and the liability that comes along with it, even to the point to where certain entities need to have multiple different LLCs to separate it against the entirety of your portfolio, right? But an S Corp allows for you to actually be able to separate you from the business. So the business is its own entity because the LLC is very similar to a sole proprietorship, except for you protecting your personal assets. But how do you protect yourself and your business from people that's looking to swindle you and do you dirty? Well, that's where an S Corp comes into place. And we're not just going to talk about an S Corp just from a business perspective. I'm talking about an S Corp and as far as protecting you from the possibility of getting divorced, because I don't really know about the mother's name and all of that and income and everything like that as far as over there where it is that he is. But over here in the United States of America, the laws might be different. All right. As far as an S Corp, the way that an S Corp is basically set up is that Apple is its own entity. Steve Jobs was his own entity. Apple made income and Apple paid its taxes to the federal government. Steve Jobs got a salary from Apple in which Steve Jobs then paid taxes on whatever it is that his salary was supposed to be from Apple. So let's just say, for example, it's a lot of CEOs that say, well, I'm only going to take $1 a year, right? My company is only going to pay me $1 a year. Now we starting to get into the weeds, all right? Shouldn't even be going into this deep, but I'm not going to go too deep for y'all because this is Patreon level content. Let's say, for example, me. I'll take myself, for example. I pay myself less than $1,000 a month. My personal expenses, because I have no debt, right? I have no personal debt. I don't have anything that ties me to needing to pay taxes in order to give the federal government money so that I can then pay for debt, which is one of the reasons I tell y'all to get out of debt, right? My company pays me less than $1,000 a month. The rest of the monies that's being spent, whether it's flights, camera equipment, the cars that I need to get back and forth from a business perspective that I lend out, the hotel rooms, everything that I do, I'm doing it from a business perspective because I'm coming here to vlog. I'm coming here to capture content. I'm coming here to look at real estate. I'm coming here to look at a lot of different things. All of that is based off of what my business is doing. So let's just say, for example, let's say that I was single today and then I went and got married, right? And then if I go and get married, that would mean that my salary, and I didn't get a prenuptial agreement or anything like that, the amount of money that I make, let's be clear, the amount of money that I make is now on the chopping block to substantiate whatever it is my income is. Let's say I have a kid. Well, what it is that I'm going to pay in child support is largely dependent on what it is that my income is going to be, right? What it is that you get as far as my personal assets is based off of what it is that I have in my name. But because I have an S Corp, or I don't have an S Corp, but because I work for an S Corporation, right? The business is completely separate from the personal, right? And so what happens is it's basically it's like its own entity, its own person. It has its own tax ID, its own EIN. It pays its own taxes to the federal government, and then I get a salary, whatever it is that I negotiate with that S corporation, I get a salary. It's just like your regular job. Your job pays taxes to the federal government based off of its profit, its expenses, or whatever, so on and so forth. And then your job pays you. When you get paid, if somebody was to come after you, they can't then say, well, listen, whatever it is that I feel like I'm owed, I'm going for the company that you work for. No, the company that you work for is its own entity. And that's basically you separating or looking at everything from a business perspective. But most people, they can't or they don't because they're just a regular W-2 employee. They go to H&R Block. They go to the tax person down the street, little Ray Ray's tax service. And if you make $120,000 a year and you in a 22% tax bracket, and then they go by whatever it is that you gross, not what you net, and then they don't even count for whatever it is that you're taking out for your expenses. You got a high car note or whatever. Then you're gonna be underwater because you never looked at anything from a business perspective. I have nothing in my name. I have nothing in my name. I don't have a piece of real estate in my name. I don't have anything. I don't have a car in my name. I don't have no credit. I don't have no credit. I don't have anything. There's nothing in my. This hotel room is not even registered under me. I have nothing in my name. Absolutely nothing. The ad revenue that I get from YouTube, that don't come to me. You know my name, but I'm a ghost. You can't look up any piece of real estate. I'm not going to tell you how I got my stuff set up. Maybe I'll do it for the bag chasers. Maybe I'll do a Patreon exclusive to show y'all exactly how I have everything set up. Nothing. Nothing is in my name. I'm a ghost. I don't have a car. I don't have a house. I don't have anything. I have zero in my name, and my personal expenses is less than $1,000 a month. I have nothing in my name. I don't have anything. You can't look up anything and see anything from me that's in my name. Zero. Now, why do I do that? Not to protect myself from the person that I love the most. Shout out to Rita. Rita, I love you. I love you more. She says she loved me more. She get it too, though. Because being married allows for me to move a little bit differently, and I'm not going to go into the details. I'm not going to go into my trusts. I'm not going to go into how it is that I structure my business here on the internet. But all I'm telling you is that somebody said, "What about your corporate job?" I'll tell you this: what it is that I negotiated for my base salary. And yeah, you're gonna get a regular salary from your regular W-2. But all of that goes into, well, I don't want to say that out loud. I'll say this. I haven't spent a personal check since about 2013 from a regular job. I have not spent a personal check since about 2013 from a regular job. Now, I can show you how to set this up. I think that I'm going to do, I just got a new idea. I think I'm going to do a Patreon exclusive for you guys so I can show you exactly how it is that I set up my business to protect myself against anything. Literally anything. I'm completely protected. My family is protected. My properties is protected. Each individual property is protected against itself. So, for example, if you create a property company, right, you don't want to have a whole lot of different things inside of it. You want to have each individual property as its own entity. And that way, if something happens to one property, it does not affect what's going on over at the next one. And it's ways that you can do it inside of the United States of America. The problem is that most people just lean into what it is that they see online, or they fall in love instead of looking at a relationship from a business perspective. They don't understand how to extract the most and the benefits of being married. And so it's different ways that you can finesse the game. But I'm going to do a Patreon exclusive coming up soon so I can show you guys how I have my stuff set up. And then so you ladies and you gentlemen can then finesse the game legally in order to ensure that you become super successful. All right.